Hi, and welcome to the freebie Mixed Media Canvas class. If you are taking this class, then that means I owe you a very big thank you because you have taken every one of the classes in the Grungy Girl Technique series. So this is my thank you to you, and I so appreciate that you have taken all of my classes. This is a really fun project. It's very mixed media, so I'm not giving any particular size or anything like that. I'm just going to give this as a very loose, very free kind of a project. I started with a vintage book cover. Now, you're not going to want to use a book that is precious. You know, it needs to be something maybe that you get from a garage sale or from a thrift store, something like that, and something that isn't like a limited edition or anything like that. But this is just an old dictionary. I had used all of the papers inside for making paper flowers, and so I had this cover, and I thought it would make a really cool canvas board. So you can use even children's books or an atlas or an old ledger. Anything will work if it's got the board inside with kind of that canvas texture on top of it. And you'll notice that mine actually has some embossing on it, and that's really not going to matter. It'll sort of show through, but that just kind of lends to the quality of the free and loose kind of a project that this is. I used just some Liquitex Basics paint. You can use fancier paint or even, you know, some of the paint that comes in the little bottles. It's a little bit thinner, but I do suggest that at least you use the acrylic paint that has a little bit of thickness to it for the background. You can add other colors on top of it, but for the main background that we're going to do, you want to have some thickness to it. And liquid acrylic paint works better than gesso for this particular technique that I'm going to show you for the background. On top of the paint, the book cover, and vintage pages, you're also going to need some kind of a spray spritz that's got some color, and some sparkle works really good too. I used mixed media inks, but you can use any kind of a chalk ink or a pigment ink. It's just to ink the edges of the butterfly. I also use a spray bottle and a heat gun, and these are the main supplies that you will need. And the spray bottle just has some water in it, and it's for the specific techniques that we'll do. Additional supplies that you're going to need are a butterfly punch or a butterfly die. I used my Spellbinders Fanciful Flights die set, a Dymo label machine, or you can print out a word onto paper, but that Dymo label gives it that thickness and that shiny texture. Some string, some twine, driftwood or chipboard. I used a piece of driftwood that I actually did find at the beach, but you can use a piece of chipboard or any kind of a label or anything like that that you have that's got a little bit of thickness to it. I have used an actual stick from a bush that was outside, but you can also use a paintbrush or a pencil. But this is just to give you that same kind of a feel for the stick and the little driftwood piece that goes across. You'll also need a hot glue gun, but I use a low temperature one, which is important if you're going to use actual Dymo labels, because the hot glue will actually make the letters disappear. So if you're going to use real Dymo labels, you need to use a low temperature glue gun or glue dots or something like that. So now the actual creation of that background is going to be on video inside of the classroom. I figured that's going to be much more fun to you to watch the whole process from start to finish. So go ahead and watch that video, and then in the next lesson we will be doing all of the embellishing.